showtime.
Fire and water, earth and the sky, mystery surround us, legends never die. Live here for the moment, lost in time. I can hear them call, they're locked within the crystal ball.
Hey everybody, it's the D-Rock the 100 and welcome back to more of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. Last time, we finally arrived at Gormott, and we done some exploring around and we found out that Lora's mother is dead. But on the plus side, wow, I gotta sound heartless when I said it like that. We met up with some new friends, Hugo, Aegean, and Bridget. And this time, we're gonna be doing some things here at Gormott that involves in a meeting with some others. But before we get into any of that, we have a lot to talk about. And I mean, we have a lot to talk about. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Hugo! Despite what you may think at first glance, in fact, I even didn't realize that until later on, but he's actually someone in his mid to late teens. And for someone who's gonna run in the Empire more or dang, I guess don't judge a book by its cover. What's really cool about this guy, he starts on him with his own unique weapon. The seismic sword and a shield. This is actually not a bad choice of weapon to go for. He starts off as the earth element, as you can see from the crack on the ground from behind him. But don't let that fool you. Like I said with Lora and Adam, you'll be able to change his element later on, depending on how things go, but let's just get into what really makes him really good. Starting off with his Vanguard art. His special talent is the Imperial Tether. Cost of HP to be able to go, hey guys, look at me, I'm more of a target than you. But yeah, in all seriousness, this causes enemies to lock on into him, being as the perfect distraction. Which is actually kind of fitting because, well, he's actually a pretty good tank. Despite what you may think. Well, I guess the shield kind of gives it away. His other arts are for Vanguard. The shield bat. Once again, very good. It targets the enemy in front. And this could have potentially caused topple. When opponents in a break, go for the topple. Can't go wrong with something on that. Guard shift is our very first defensive maneuver. He is capable of tanking hits and restores 6 to 10% of HP when guarding. Honestly, this is not bad. The problem is, it is a very costly. So being able to get that hit to recharge over time is the way to go. But always nice to be able to restore HP in the process. And finally, Round Cutter is his other Vanguard art. Increases aggro drawn from arts and specials by 50 to 100%.
I wonder what's in store for us today.
No, not right now. Honestly, this is not bad. It can be really good, but like I said, it can be a little bit costly if you don't know how it works. And now on to his rear guard arts. First up is the Sword Strike. This causes smash. This is, honestly, not bad. By now, you could probably tell him from when they switch around with Blade and Driver, they can have their own version of the Driver combination. In this case, for Smash, always good to have, really nice, but it can be risky if you know how to use it properly. Imperial Challenge. This draws aggro from enemies in battle. Once again, not bad. Getting plenty of aggro into this is good to have. It is a little bit costly at first, but unfortunately, it is a little bit of a challenge to go for. Adamant Arm increases damage done to enemies and targeting a user by 50 to 100%. Honestly, it's not bad, and it can be a bit of a challenge if you know how to use it. well, I guess in this case, don't know how to use it, but experiment. You might actually get some good use out of it. And finally, banishment. It cancels debuffs from enemies. Once again, targets the enemy in front. It cancels their abilities. You know it well. But let's really get on to what really makes him shine in battle. Or rather, beat some enemies into the ground. See what I did there? His level 1 special, Shield Rondo. All around, not bad, and it can be very interesting to say the least. Let's see here. This causes knockback, and it does some pretty decent amount of damage. I was saving it till now, but the damage ratios are pretty much the exact same all around with the other specials that we've been seeing. Imperial Sword has level 2 special. Deals an all-around damage, has no other different effects onto it. But attacks enemies from the front, can't go wrong with that. His level 3 special, Final Thrust, and causes blowdown and does tremendous damage in the process. And also, he says you're done when he uses it. And finally, his level 4 special. Well, let's start with Bridget. Soul Fire! Increases damage dealt to enemy target user by 100%. It does 20% critical hit. Well, crit mod, that's it. Honestly, I kind of see that this one's really good for how it is. But the fact of how these two can work together as a team is not to laugh at. With Aegean, on the other hand, this causes knockback and blowdown with Sea God's Tidal Wave. Increases damage dealt to enemy targets by 100% with a 40% critical mod. And honestly, Aegean kind of has her beaten on that. But all around, not bad, but we'll get into more about that once we really get into the fight. All around, Hugo is a person that specializes mainly in being a bit of a jack of all trades, but mostly trying to be on the defensive side. If you manage to get around that, you got yourself a pretty good jack of all trades. If you think that's out of the way, let's get into probably one of the more badass members of the group. Bridget! Probably the best thing that I can say is, don't get on her bad side. Bridget is a fire element and a blade, and she is equipped with the whip swords. Her role specializes in being a tank, meaning that she can take a lot of hits and pretty much have a chance to dish them all back. Honestly, I really hate thinking that she probably could have been an attacker, but I guess don't judge a book by its cover. So let's start off with her talent arts and her vanguard arts. Confining Flames. Let's see here. This causes an AoE attack that attacks enemies from all around, and it damages enemies and boosts the allies' attack. Not bad to say the least. Let's see. Heat Haze is up next. Increases aggro drawn from arts and specials by 50 to 100%. And it, once again, is a good around attack and that knows how to deal damage in the process. It's also pretty cheap. Will o' the Wisp is up next. It increases damage dealt to launch enemies by 100 to 150%. Which, once again, you're going to be seeing a lot of in fight. Don't forget to hit about those driver combinations and of course also blade specials in the process that causes launch and damage in the process. Swirling Dragon. This increases damage dealt by 100 to 150% when HP is 30% or less. Basically, it's the Blaze of this particular game from Pokemon. I can't think of any other ways of how I can describe it. That is exactly how it is. But once again, it's not bad, but it can be a bit situational. For her rear skills, Leaping Blaze. This causes a break in her when switching out from rear to Vanguard mode. And being as how good of a jack of all trades that Hugo is and with the blades that he has, Bridget is a pretty good way how to start things off if needed. Crucible! It does... excuse me a second. This is an AoE attack, and it attacks, of course, all the enemies that are around. And it can... This is, once again, kind of been on the rare and expensive side. It can be pretty good, but the more that you level it up, the less it hits and that'll need to take to recharge it. Let's see. Dance of Flames increases aggro drawn from arts and specials by 50 to 100%. And, well, once again, it targets the enemy from with it. And it can deal a lot of good damage in the process. And finally, Shadow Flare lowers enemies' physical defense. Once again, very good. Bridget isn't known for being a jack of all trades. If you use correctly, then, well, let's face it, it could be damaging in the process. Alright, for now, for her level 1 special, Wheel of Pennant. It increases an aggro drawn from specials by 60 to 100%. And of course, good for an AoE attack. And, like I said, very good for what it does. Twin Serpent is our level 2 special. Increases in damage dealt by 150% when HP is 30 or less. And, well, if your enemy's about to overwhelm you, overwhelm them back. Level 3, Belt and Blades. Increases damage dealt from the front by 60 to 100% with a 25% critical hit mod. I think by now you may be seeing him for where we're going with this. It is a bit of a challenge at first, and once again, it is a nice thing to have when you're facing off against enemies from all around. We've technically already talked about Soulfire, but once again, it's just as good, and when Hugo starts it well. Finally, let's get on into our battle skills. Warpire. It adds 16% to 10% the damage dealt for each attack invaded, with the maximum at 250%. This is overwhelming. I like it, but once again, it is a bit situational. Be mindful that you won't be getting into 250% often, unless if you're going up against some powerful monsters, which we'll be seeing later on in the game. Firewalker improves its invasion by 20% to 60% when HP is 30% or lower. Once again, great hitter for when Hugo's taking a lot of damage. Apparently, she specializes in attacking the enemies and when Hugo's almost about to be killed. I don't get it either. But that doesn't mean that it's pointless. It is very good to say the least. And finally, Dance of the Flames adds 15% to 90% hit chances of evading ranged attacks. Not bad, but I guess with her eyes shut all the time, you gotta open them at some point. And finally, her field skills. She only has 2. Botany, which increases in the amount of flowers that you can find out in the field, and lockpicking. Pesky treasure troves and not being able to open them with you without the right skills? Well, Bridget's got you covered. The only way how to level those up is by looking for more treasure troves, which will take quite a while to find. So all around, Bridget is a jack of all trades. She's a tank, but she pretty much makes it look more like she's more of an attacker and a tank at the same time. Alright, we gotta talk. Aegean. I feel so bad for Aegean when I talk about this. Many people consider him to be the weakest blade in the game. I kind of agree on this, but with that chrome katana and that badass stance, how could you hate the guy? What he lacks in such great moves and many other things, he makes it up for having some pretty good counters in the process. Let's see. And like with Bridget, he's a tank and can take a lot of hits. So let's get on into his Vanguard arts and start off with Counter Wave, his talent art. This is an auto counter mod, and it is great for launching powerful counterattacks each time you invade. And this only works when your ally is incapacitated. Already you can see here for where this is going. But all around, it's not bad enough to say the least if you know how to use it properly. So, let's see. Next up is Water Moon. It adds a 60 to 100% chance of dealing a guard-enabling attack and causes piercing. Able to take a hit on enemy hits suitable when they specialize in defense? Don't worry. Piercing is a great ability that these blades would have, and it can be nice to say the least.
I do love a bit of peace and quiet.
Breaking Wave is up next. Increases the critical damage by 25 to 85% with a 25% critical mod, and it causes knockback. All around, not bad. It isn't going to be a little bit of a situation to build up from time to time, but you can't be mad at it, right? Okay, maybe a little bit. But listen, finishing off with Midnight Mist. Increases damage dealt to enemy targeting the user by 60 to 100%. This is interesting. If you know how to use it correctly, it can be a bit of a challenge if you know how to properly use it, or just don't. That's sort of where your field skills are going to come in for later on down the road. So let's move on here to the rear guard arts. Rushing Tide is the switch art. This is causing a launch and with a boost of invasion. Once again, it's interesting. But causing a launch from something on that, I don't know. It's interesting to say the least, but experiment. You might find some good use out of it. Be Calm. This nullifies one's reaction and it targets the enemy from when you're attacking. Not bad, but it can be a bit of a challenge if things get a little bit out of hand. Water Sprout increases in damage dealt by 100 to 150% when HP is 90% or higher. Once again, this is kind of a jack of all trades of a group. With the Gian having this Water Sprout, it could be interesting to say the least, but once again, it's interesting. Quicksilver erects a barrier that absorbs fixed damage. Jack of all trades. Like I said, it's interesting. And now on to the the specials. His level 1 special, Cascade Smash. This causes blowdown and increases damage dealt to topple enemies by 100 to 150%. If you couldn't tell, these specials specialize in dealing more damage depending on the driver combination that's happening. Cascade Smash with topple enemies is a good pick to go for. Rolling Tide is at a 60 to 100% chance of dealing a guard enabling attack. And, oh boy, have fun. I think you might be seeing where I'm going when I say it like that. But let's move on to 100-Year Wave, his level 3 special. Increases damage dealt to enemies targeting user by 60 to 100%. With that ability that Hugo had from earlier, it's great. I love it. And having that level 3 and having many enemies target you at once, that's going to deal a lot of damage. And finally, his level 4 special, Seeking God's Tidal Wave, which I talked about from before. It's not bad to say the least. Now on to his battle skills. Serene Heart. After achieving max affinity in combat, it invades an enemy attacks from 10 to 18 seconds. It's very time consuming, and it can be useful if you try to use affinity in battle and use it to your advantage. Like Water, improves invasion by 20 to 60% while moving. I definitely recommend that you do this when you're using a special, and since you're technically moving, it makes things a whole lot easier to handle. Enlightenment improves evasion by 20 to 60% when HP is 30% or lower. Whether you have high HP or you're just about to die, these blades got your back and are helping you with your invasion. Now on to his field skills. Ichthyology. It goes up to level 3, and it can give you some more fish to grab, depending on what level you're at. Command Water It's his signature. We won't be seeing this for a while, but it'll give him the chance to command hold water from certain locations that you can't get to at once before, which, for now, we're not going to be seeing for a little bit. And finally, super strength. Anything that's going to get in the way that causes an amount of strength needed to move stuff, don't worry. With the right skills on this one, Aegean's got your back. Or rather, he won't, because he's barely ever going to use it, but I wouldn't count Aegean out on everything. All around, Hugo, Bridget, and Aegean combined together is a jack of all trades, and it can be situational if you don't know how to use them properly. And before we can go on, I was saving it till now. Oh, wait. Never mind. I actually covered up everything that I needed to talk about. So, with that, we're done. For now, that is. "20 minutes of that. Holy crap.
Right. So it was the Cian forces that ravaged this area.
Yes. Many troops remained here with no orders after Malos sank their homeland. We're doing our best to disarm them, but... well, you've seen the village. Sadly, it's happened more than once.
The powers that be bicker among themselves, ignoring the larger danger.
And right now, that is the one thing we cannot afford.
I will go take a look.
Incidentally, how has Torna been faring?
I'd like to tell you that the people bask in the peace of His Majesty's rule. But I'm afraid that would be a lie.
Same as everywhere else then, yes?
Torna has not escaped Malos's rampage unscathed.
If that is so, allow me to offer you the Imperial Army's assistance in this time of...
Don't worry about it. This is exactly the reason why Indol entrusted her to me.
Ah, so you came. The future king of Torna. I'm glad I thought to send a messenger.
King, don't joke about it. Rumors like that could cause trouble at home.
I am merely a quester. I hold no such influence.
I quested today, but tomorrow?
The core's color is different. And she's a woman, too. Quite lovely indeed. Malos was all brawn and brutish strength.
You worry?
No, quite the contrary. Everybody knows a blade's appearance bears no relation to their power. You could be the heroine of our resistance.
No, I won't be anyone's anything.
That's fine now. I have only one thing to ask of you. To rectify the mistake I made and erase Malos from the face of the world.
So that's why the returning hero, pacifier of the borderlands, was really just...
Never before has a blade broken free and rampaged like this. I can see why Indol would prefer to keep it quiet. They're even routing support to the militia through Argentum for deniability.
and then towards you.
I'm just some princeling. Me.
Surely, if you defeat Malos, your cover will be blown.
If indeed. But we're not in it for the glory, are we? When we're done, I'll just plow my fields in peace.
Your Majesty, some of our troops have returned to base, but
Is something wrong?
They're all reporting something strange. A marauding group of routed mercenaries, trying to avoid any attention.
Just remnants, hmm? That is strange. There's not much around here for them, in the way of paid work or opportunities for looting.
As your majesty commanded, our men did not engage. We confirmed their bearing, then withdrew.
And? Where were they going?
The village outskirts.
But why there? There's nothing but graveyards.
What the?
Oh no.
Aw, crap.
At first, I thought to take it. But I'd made it for her, and I'd like her to keep it forever.
So, the bitch is dead, is she? Shame. I had a soft spot for her. Ha! Guess you learned how to use a weapon at least. Big change from a tiny kid trying not to piss herself in fear.
You're... No! God.
You remember me? How touching.
A face that ugly, I couldn't forget. Trust me, I tried.
Harsh.
What do you want? Not that I can't imagine.
I'm here to take back what's mine, kid. But before that, I'll take a bit of time to express my gratitude to you. It ain't gonna be pretty or quick. Then I'll make that blade watch as I cut you into little sticky chunks, just to make sure the last thing he feels is complete despair.
I'll hold them up. You get to the others quickly.
No use. Hayes, he knew about you. He brought no blades, just more mercs.
Exactly. Don't worry. I'm gonna treat you real good before I get to the cutting. Well,
Heads up,
you're not
people.
so tough with
boy.
it.
We can do it if we work together.
This is not good.
I got it.
You're a lifesaver.
So this starts off with a fight against Lora! Believe it or not, this guy's no pushover!
Come on.
You're a lifesaver.
On target.
Comes the birdie!
Right on target.
That was loud. Wasn't expecting that.
Hurry up.
Boy.
Here comes the birdie!
Alright.
Ever forward.
One down.
Cyclone.
Here comes the birdie!
Bring him down. Yeah!
Yeah. There. Come on. Right on target. Right on target.
Think you can run,
Yeah!
girly?
That was easy.
You're starting to piss me off. Oi! Surround them so they don't get away.
My lady, you have to go.
It's all right. He's here.
You bastard! No! Ah! Ah! No!
We are done for! Let's run!
Had enough. What's next then? Right leg? Or the left? Or how about...
Enough! That's enough, Jin. Just leave him. For my sake.
I...
So you let him go? Even without his arms, he may cause you more trouble, one day.
I didn't want to end it here. He might deserve it, but he did take care of my mother, so... Let's go back. I suppose I can bring myself to step foot on this flagship, after all.
Ah! My arms! My arms! Bastards! I'm gonna kill them! Every last one of them! Ah! Huh? The hell are you? Ah! Stop it!
Well, that was disgusting on a whole new levels. Well, so yeah, Gort, I will be Lora's father. Whoosh.
Even on familiar ground, we must stay vigilant.
So I think we just carry on for this, and then we'll maybe do something else in the process. Well, here we are. Welcome aboard, my honored guests. It's funny. I was expecting it here to be all glitz and glamour. Halls of gold, diamonds and chandeliers and all that. But there's nothing like that here. I like this much better. It all depends on the country. Some of the nobility like to travel in style, and believe me, they don't go halfway. Montaigne, on the other hand, is a military state. They take a more pragmatic approach. These are some weird words. Just as the emperor must be a masterful driver, so must a diplomatic vessel be armed for war. That is the Aldanian way. So long as its mission is not a covert one, every flagship under our command must be a throne I may ascend. And if the leader's the first to fall, what then? Jin? It's alright, Lora. He makes a valid point. That is precisely why Ajin and Bridget, the jewels of the Empire, have been bestowed upon me. Your Majesty. We will do everything in our power to protect you. Your Majesty, even at the cost of our lives. I am blessed to have such loyal companions. Your Majesty, we have urgent news. His Majesty is currently entertaining guests. I will entreat you not to incur his displeasure. My humble apologies, Your Majesty. It's all right. I trust this is news of special importance. Please, give us your tidings. Of course, Your Majesty. As you know, we acted stricter in regulations in our scout patrols in light of the recent tragedy in Torgoth. Well, one of our patrols happened upon a young Gormott near the camp and his seagull fell, but they lost track of him. So, you think he might be a survivor? We believe so. We can send out further patrol immediately, if His Majesty says. I see. I'm sorry that we have to keep you waiting. Please, go ahead. Yes, Your Majesty! I would like for our country to shelter as many refugees as falls within our means. I do hope we can be found quickly. Wait, we should go with them. What for? Their army is not exactly short-staffed. He's just a kid. He'll be scared witless of the soldiers. Of course he's going to run away. Lora's got a point. Very well, let's head out. We would do well to make haste before we stray any further afield. Thanks, guys. You're such a bunch of do-gooders. It's gonna land us in trouble someday. You're one to talk, Mithra!
If I turned down an opportunity like this.
You are one to freaking talk. So, let's see. Why don't we talk to some of these people that require our eyes and ears? Lyda! Get a grip, I beg you. What's the use of worrying before you've even set off? No, see, that's the worst part. I thought I'd have the courage by now, but it's just... Is something the matter? You seem troubled. Who are you then? Oh, this is great. Hey, Kata, look. We can just ask these people for help. Are we really going to go through all this again? If I could interject, why don't you just tell us what's wrong, and then we'll take it from there, Ah, I see. So Lada's only just become a driver. That's right. So I come to Gormott to explore around, hoping I can get a bit stronger. And that's why you're asking strangers for the help as soon as we arrive. Makes sense. Is that how little faith you have in me? Hey, that's not fair. You know, I just... Well, how about this? After you head off, we'll follow you at a distance. So we can step in if things get roppy. But if it looks like you're managing on your own strength, we'll leave well alone. Does that sound good? It seems reasonable enough. It does? Awesome! Thanks so much, guys. I knew we'd end up stepping into something like this. Come off it, Mithra. Our meeting here was also the work of faith, after all. Before we go, we should establish a clear goal. We can't keep providing aid forever. For the time being, let's say we'll head for the serene spring side. It's meant to be somewhere nearby. Hayes, any ideas? I have heard before it is somewhere on the Titan's back. It shouldn't be far from here. Right on. In that case, we're off. Time to move backward. Forward. You know what I mean. I'm sorry she managed to get you roped into this. Here I go.
Let's see what we have here.
So, looks like we're going to be doing some checking things out from a distance. Krogan. Name's Krogan. Krogan the Blade. My driver looks like an overgrown furball, but he's really a seasoned merc. A real hard nut. Thing is, I think he's gone and over his head at this time. This job's too much for him to handle. So we've been looking around for drivers with a good track record who's been able to join him. I can tell just by looking at you folks aren't some lousy Sunday drivers. Whatever you say. You must have seen real combat. Interested? But first I want to see how you measured up in a fight. As for the rules, let's have you pull off a second stage blade combo, say about 5 times. Doesn't matter which element you use, just do any special and then any other one that's a level 2 or above 5 times. And obviously, since you can't rely on your allies for linking up the specials, you might want to try to mix it up. The place, time, and target's up to you. I just want to know if your blade combos are up to scratch. I may look like a meathead, but I know my ether. You feel someone of your power and level can pull off a special wherever you are. Anyway, I talked long enough. Hope you've got what it takes. That
We cannot turn them away.
I hate so much. Hitting enemy with a special begins a blade combo. Yeah, we've seen this already. But it's funny that we now have 2 blades that are part of our community. Duden! Yeah. Duden's sinking into doldrums. If not delivered quickly, partner's sure to flip lid! Travelers! Listen to Duden's woes! Duden is a salvager by trade, as her friends see, is entire livelihood. Duden has been driving off a Lasham Cove with wooden cylinders in an effort to find specific treasure. But all Duden finds is useless collectible value of scrap. More worth to throw away than keep. Probably faulty wood cylinders, not really built to last. I've heard salvagers are more than use shiny silver cylinders or some such. Duden not have luxury to use such high-tech equipment, but want to change that. It may be asking too much, but could Duden trouble travels for helping? Would need friends to collect apple lambs and alloy sheetings. Then Duden could dive deep into cloud sea with silver cylinder on back and glide to treasure and stickly his surround. If friends do this, we'll give all the leftover useless. Very precious bat hinge as a reward. Duden counting on you. Salvage the Salvager.
To help.
What would they think of next? All right. Let's see here. I guess there's technically a couple things, and then you know we'll deal with them later. All right, so I think for the duration of this episode, why don't we try taking care of a couple of quests along the way? Actually, you. Sneak up on an overfaction and Murph.
Ready to put another win under our belts?
I step aside for no man or monster.
Come on. There we go. That was it. Come on. All right. So one of our objectives is to build up a blade head together.
You're wide open! Rest in peace.
Now we're getting into the rhythm. How about spinning wheel?
I'll give you a hint.
Lora, let's whip.
I've
this is definitely an enemy of interest for us. That.
As you wish.
Man, how am I losing so much health in this already? Go for the level 4.
I need your help there, Jin.
Good. I'm with you. Midnight sun.
Yeah.
I say you're got it. Great work, Kajio. Rest in peace.
Booyah!
Important question. Who do you think is strong? Me or Bridget?
Ooh, a steel chip.
You put so much stock in external displays of power, do you?
What do you mean? Strength is strength, right? Right?
About that. Strength's not always the key to all that kind of stuff. Once you learn to grow, you'll get it.
You can rely on me to aid you.
Yep.
Make sure you use it for all it's worth.
Light speed, huh? Meh, you're right. Oop. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Yeah, we should be okay. Alright. So, our current objective is literally straight ahead. Oh boy, here we go. My stomach! So empty! Ugh. Need spicy food. Well. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa! Ugh. Well, I knew this was gonna be a thing. Time to go and do some cooking.
Whoosh. Even on familiar ground.
Alright. Might as well talk a little bit. Your Majesty, about your intention to search for the boy. Be at ease, Aegean. All riches are presently mired in disorder, and it is the work of the Aegis' might. Nothing can right the balance but the work of another Aegis, unlike in power. It pains me to say, but perhaps it is a challenge too great for our nation to face alone. So it's really in the Ardanian national interest that we act together on this. Precisely. Understood. We'll take points on this one, Aegean, to ease the burden of His Majesty a little. Very well. Well then, I suppose we look lively and make our way out into Seagull Fell. Excellent. Let it be so. So we now have 3 more campsites that can
I'm a
be
little
created.
nervous, to tell
Machine
you the
tinkering is Hugo's special. He has some pretty nice key items in that he can collect for us. Perfumery. Makes some pretty interesting perfume, but we'll look into that in a little bit. And refined cuisine is Aegean's. Pretty interesting to say the least. Well, let's see here.
It came together nicely.
We can make the curry here.
It's ready.
A survivalist
It's ready.
sandwich. Unforgettable talisman.
I hope
get
you'll
that?
appreciate the embroidery.
Well, let's see here.
There.
Winter
A
Wind
cologne to
perfume,
cut.
Spring
I
Hair
think
Revival
I've done
perfume,
reasonably
and
well.
Evil Bane
I
perfume.
think I've done reasonably well.
Does it suit your taste? It's done. It's done.
Interesting. I thought we'd be able to make more than that, but oh well.
I fight for my friends.
The future is within our grasp.
All credit to my siblings in arms.
Indeed. All right. Oh. I wasn't expecting that until a little bit later, but oh well. See what we got.
There's more to this blade than cutting down fools.
True. You purchase items from the meat category, which would be nice to have. And Gormott. We got several enemies for us to go after in Gormott. But we'll definitely be dealing with that a little bit later. Item from the dessert pouch, okay. Also something here in Gormott, but we'll deal with that later. Dormio Flammy at Gormott. Collect stuff. Okay. Alright. You're literally
I'm afraid I
headed
can't
all the
go
way.
easy on you.
We have to stay cool.
Put your minds at ease.
I feel
There we go.
Say, Lora, what do you do when the going gets tough?
Well, I suppose I start thinking about the people dearest to me.
Loved ones, huh? A solid plan.
Right. And after that, it's hard not to end up grinning like an idiot.
Gritting like an idiot. Let that sink in for a moment.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think we've been spotted.
Let's just run. Thank you. Alright. So we've got some spice there for the crybaby over here, Lida. So, let's... Whoa. Oh, okay, you're not as powerful as I thought you were. Boop. I said, boop. There we go. There we go. Phew, man, I thought it was the end of me. Thanks for keeping me alive. You got such an appetite. I'm not sure where you put all that. My stomach never let me down. And also, I love spicy stuff so much that the more I ate, the more pumped I got for this whole driving deal. Just hearing you mention it makes my insides royal. Hey, Lida. If you think you can laugh it off, you don't know me very well. Can you even imagine what would have happened if these guys weren't here to help? I'm sorry, Kata. Lida, I think Kata is just worried about you. As her driver, you're important to her. Obviously, she wants you to do well, and to be well. Kata, is that true? Let's head for that big tree next. No answer, huh? If you even think about collapsing again, I'll name this place after you. Lida Oasis has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Awkward. Jin, do something. I think this is beyond us now. Oh, I see. Then people will remember her failure forever. Naturally. The legend of the bundling greenhorn driver who brought shame to her blade by collapsing from lack of spicy food. Stop it! Don't say stuff like that. I might die of sheer embarrassment. Oh, okay, wait up, kid. I'm coming. Thanks, Mithra. That could have gone a lot worse. Indeed. Your less than tactful comment might have saved the day. What? Hey, now! Hey! You know, about that, in the base game, and this is a bit of a spoiler, they actually did name a location that was called the Light Oasis.
Intrepid?
Trust me, I wish I was lying. From this close up, it looks more impressive. You bet. It's so majestic. It calms me right down and reminds me of my father. Is that so? He must be a great man then. He's a builder, my dad. Sure, he's a bit grumpy and stubborn, but he's someone you can rely on. Me? I'd be like that too. I want to get stronger and sturdy and stop disappointing Kata all the time. We're calling this tree the Way Tree. That's a nice name. Bit simple though, no? Wait. My dad's name is Wayton. I see what you did there. It's a name that will not only remind you of him, but also the way you wish to follow. See? Man, I thought this was in the water hole. But Kata's really good at naming stuff, huh? It's like a superpower. I have too, don't I? Otherwise, casual travelers like you would never remember what's where. That's so nice of you. Sorry to put you out, everyone, but would you mind if we went a bit further? Like, maybe the top of that big root. It's a little far. Are you sure you're up to it? You really need to push yourself. Right now, I'm feeling capable. And if I can get turned around, I'll just look out for this tree. Well, if it's gonna help you grow, I can't see a reason to say no. Sorry and thank you, Kata. Right then, we're off. Well, I guess we're going to do some tree climbing. And that is a big-ass frog. So, coming up here, I think we're actually reaching to a point where we're going to go into a new location that we can explore for the skip travel, I think. Let's see. What happened? Did you get injured somewhere? I did it! I flippin' did it! I finally whipped the monster's butt! Lyda, please calm down. You said finally. What exactly have you been doing before? Oh, she's been skillfully avoiding them. This is her first official victory. Hey, Kata, do I look buff now or what? After beating one monster? Just listen to yourself. And even then, it looks like the poor guy might have just tripped and fallen onto your weapon. It's useless after all, then. Lyda, take a look at that. Whoa, is that Lasham Cove? It's a huge and natural harbor, and as you remember. And yet, looking at it from here, it appears tiny. Don't focus so much on your strength, but just look at how far we've come. I'm proud of you for that. Kata, you're so nice! What's that face you're pulling? Seriously. Seriously, all this noise about a simple exploration mission. Everybody starts somewhere. Thinking back to when we've met them. Isn't this successful enough? I believe Lyda may yet grow into a fine driver indeed. It's not every day that Jin offers praise like that. That pretty much settles it. She'll do great things one day. Everyone, thank you all for your assistance. After we've gone through around Gormott, I think we'll find some other place to explore. Then we might meet again somewhere, mightn't we? Very good. On that day, it may be you helping us out. Oh, don't make fun of me. I don't think he is. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that day. We'll be cheering you on, you two.
Well done, us.
I am honored.
Yeah. That is what we're going to be seeing throughout a majority of the game. Let that sink in for a moment.
I'm just happy we made
Here's
someone
Talisman
happy.
Infantry Vest. A turquoise chip. Ooh. And whoa. Don't want to get a bit. Not going that way. So let's see what. Oops.
Think of the possibilities.
It would seem I have... Cooking is naturally learned by doing.
Aha. Well, I guess with that said and done, I think it's about time that we finally go ahead and we end things off right around here. Alright, so, next time on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country, we definitely got some more quests that we gotta do from around here. And with some of these high-level monsters that we just found, maybe they could prove to some good use to us. So, with that, see you guys then.